friends. Today I thought I would like to discuss with you the subject of teak panelled coaches. Now, a lot of railways used teak panelled coaches, including the North Eastern Railway, the Metropolitan, the Great Northern, the Eastern Counties, and possibly most famously the LNER, or London and North Eastern. The thing about teak is that it looks fantastic. It weathers really well. It has a lovely, rich, complex finish to it. Sounds like I'm talking about a whiskey. But the other thing about it is that it was cheap. It was really cheap. It didn't flake, it didn't look so awful when it got dirty, and it aged really nicely. So it was quite cunning. For the London and North Eastern Railway, it was absolutely perfect because the LNER is famous for its glamorous engines, its Flying Scotsmans, its Mallards. But in reality, they were pretty poor. They were reliant almost entirely on the old northeastern railway lines to make any money at all. But I think the teak coaches are a triumph of style over substance. I think they look great. So, I thought I'd have a look at this for today's video. This is the Hornby Railroad LNER composite coach. Now, Hornby do a much better range of LNER teak coaches. These are pretty basic. They came along in, I think, the late 70s, early 80s. They only did 3 different types of coach. They did the composite, which is this. They did the brake coach, and they did a sleeping car. So, if you want to be strictly prototypical, they're not fantastic. But if you want just a rake of coaches that look the part behind your A1 or your P2 or your A4, These are worth a look. They're a much cheaper option than the more modern offering. But this finish is a little pale for my liking. It doesn't really capture the richness of teak for me. So let's have a look and see what we can do to fix that. What I'm planning to use is this. This is ink. It is a colour known as peat brown. I believe there's actually a writer called Pete Brown, so this bottle is no relation to him. First step is to pull out the bogies. They come out really easily. Second step, there's some clips at the end of the body there. Just going to do it at the other end. Ooh. Now I'm a little bit wary with these. There we go. And there's also some clips in the middle here. There. Off with the chassis. Alright, let's get started. Now I must admit, I'm not sure how well this plastic is going to take this ink. Because it seems to be less, I don't know, it seems to be smoother than older variants on this. Okay, that seems to be, yeah, that's not so bad. Looks like you do have to kind of keep going with it. But yeah. I'm not going to try to avoid the numbers. What I want here is a coach that's been in service for a good long while. Could probably do with a trip to the works. Not going to lie, guys, this might take a while. Let's have a jump cut. The trouble with this is it's one of those things where you kind of have to keep going with the application. What I've done is I've dried off my brush a bit, and now I'm going over the panels to try to get a fairly even spread. I don't want it too even. What I'm going for is a wood grain look. I suspect this is one of those things where I'm going to have to sort of keep at it as it dries. But it's starting to show through, I think. Now I'm using a slightly thinner brush. Just going to try and take it off the numbers a bit there. Okay, the ink is starting to dry, and the effect is coming out. I think this is going to work, chums. There it is. Now to do the other sides. There we go. That's gone quite a long way to making it look fairly rich and deep. Like Gwyneth Paltrow, only deep as well. So, join me in the second part where I will detail the rest of this coach up. Cheerio.